So
We should do the Folk DJ Hall of Fame.
Folk DJ Hall of Fame.
the Folk DJ Hall of Fame. And also, we do have our Folk DJ Scholarship person here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Hi folks, my name is John Farmer. I am here with a huge smile and a whole lot of good as the first Gene Shea Scholarship winner. I'm from Old Sound, Ontario. I launched a weekly show for the Summer Folk Music and Crafts Festival to give a platform for artists that weren't getting any kind of radio play in my part of the world otherwise, and it's a great honor to be here, so thank you.
And one other special mention, I'd like to welcome back Matt Watroba, who's got his show back. And I guess we can start with Mr. Platt here, who's in the middle of eating. No, I think we should wait for that maybe. Yeah,
We're not gonna have much time.
A supposed radio panel at 1 o'clock, and also Wisdom of the Elders, which I didn't know we were getting scheduled so tightly. I thought we'd have more time.
I think we should probably all do it at once if we can be real concise about it, which is a challenge for us over-explainers.
We'll do it at the same time.
Yeah, John Platt, WFUV, Sunday Supper, also On Your Radar, which is a monthly showcase for emerging artists at Rockwood Music Hall. And In the Willows is an Irish band that just blew me away. And I'm not usually somebody raving about Irish groups, but In the Willows. So we go around this way?
Yeah, let's go around that way. So Kevin?
Oh, okay. Kevin Elliott. My show is from the Joshua Tree Inn on WEFT in Champaign, Illinois. And let's see, just give one artist, you think? If I'm going to remember her name right, the guitarist Christy Leger, I think. Renee. Yeah, she was amazing. I mean, incredible guitarist. So if you like that kind of solo guitar playing. And she's a singer-songwriter too, though.
I'm Wanda Fisher from WAMC in Albany, New York. And we saw the Weeping Willows last night, who I thought were very good from Australia.
Al Canola from WVPE, South Bend, Indiana, and Alice Howe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Alice Howe.
Okay, sure.
Massachusetts working on free vote.
I just didn't hear it.
I'm Casey Roush from KKFI here in Kansas City. I have River Trade Radio, been hosting for 4 years, and we specialize in having real live guests on. And I caught a set by Chris Matthews that blew me away, really a lot of social justice topics and such.
She just won the new song competition.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well deserved.
She's growing.
Marianne Moorman, Seattle, KBCS. Show is Sunday Folks. And Grizzly Bears from one of our Canadian groups this year. Stopped in and saw them and thought that was pretty fabulous.
Laurel Zidney from WPSU in State College, Pennsylvania. And Paper Wings, two young women doing traditional stuff that they've written. It's newer traditional.
Sue Kessel, WNUR in Chicago, Evanston. Shauna Caspi.
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 Good, another Canadian.
Yeah, she's really good.
I like her a lot.
I'm Susan Ritta from KZUM out of Lincoln, Nebraska. My show is called Thunder on the Plains. And I would highly recommend checking out Night Tree. A bunch of young, very educated folks. Yes, very good.
Ron Cook, KTAL, Las Cruces, New Mexico. My program is called Music They Don't Want You to Hear. A lot of social justice music, and I would vote for Chris Matthews. She's outstanding.
Oh, hi, my name's Steve Pritchard from Toronto. I do a show on CIUT, which is the University of Toronto Radio. It's called the Radio Boogie. It has been bluegrass and old time for the longest period. It's sort of morphing into more or less folk stuff, mainly because to me that seems to be where the bigger market is and everything sort of flows into it, and my interests are sort of going in that direction. At any rate, I've been doing the show for this month.
No, come on, we need to recognize.
Yeah, come on.
Ah, okay.
I'm sorry,
Anna and Elizabeth.
Thank you.
And the reason for that is I started watching them when they were doing their traditional Appalachian stuff, and they do it beautifully. But what they've done, they've taken that show and they've morphed it into their own stuff, and it's stunning what they do. Anna and Elizabeth.
Arthur Berman, CITR, Pacific Pickin'. It's bluegrass mainly with related forms, and I'm also the list owner of Folk DJ along with a couple other people.
What's your recommendation? I'll say.
CITI.
No, okay, I'm Andrea Berman with Pacific Pickin in, same thing. Our recommendation, he couldn't pronounce it quite right, Kolonien from Sweden.
Oh, Sweden.
We saw their very
Is that
first
not
showcase. They are astonishing. It's not bluegrass. We love it. Kolonien, Kolonien.
Great vocals. Some English, some Swedish.
The Lost Acre also, so we get our two in.
What was it?
Lost Acre.
Okay.
Kolonien.
I got that one.
Kolonien.
I got Kolonien. I got that, and then Lost Acre. Got it.
And apparently they don't have a CD out now, but it's coming soon. Also.
Art Venius, my needle drop show on WCOM in Carver Chapel Hill is The Revolution Starts Now, social justice, topical songs. I also do Classic Eno Festival live on WHUP in Hillsborough, which is picking from 25 years of festival recordings. My recommendation is Tallis, a Scots band with a concertina player that I can only describe as the Bela Fleck of the concertina.
Taylor Caffrey, Public Radio Baton Rouge for 38 years, and more and more folk freeform. So I'm sort of the Allison Steele, the Nightbird. And
I always think of when I think of.
That's right. And I don't know, I wasn't here last year, but if he was, I apologize. I liked the songwriting of Andrew Delaney from California. Okay.
Kathy Peters, KKFI. Show is Fool Killer Folk. My husband started it in 1989. We have co-hosts, one of whom is here. The band that blew me away was the Villalobos brothers. Man, they were great.
There's some people back there.
Michael Park, the International Americana Music Show. I only play non-American Americana. The person I saw last night who was absolutely sensational, brought the house down, was Martin Joseph from Wales. Just incredible performance in British Underground.
George Dayton, Charlottesville, Virginia. My show is the Cosmic American Jamboree. And a guy that I really enjoyed, it was Wednesday, Jake Allen. Jake Allen from Austin, and he's a singer-songwriter, but his guitar playing, if you liked Michael Hedges, you want to check him out.
Peter Jones, WTJU in Charlottesville, Virginia. And really enjoyed it was Sam Ryder and the Human Hands.
Say it again, please.
Sam Ryder and the Human Hands.
R-E-I-D-E-R.
He's also a member of Silver City Band, which
And
used to be
also-
called the Amigos.
Right. Yeah.
And Phoebe Hunt and the Gatherers.
And Phoebe Hunt and the Gatherers.
Yep. They shared the band list.
Jenny Anzarillo, I'm the music director at High Plains Public Radio, and I do the morning show, High Plains Morning. It's been around since the station started 37 years ago. Folk Americana, singer-songwriter mostly, but I played freaking everything.
What state?
I mix in all of the bears.
What state?
What's that?
What state?
Oh, 5 states. Texas, Oklahoma Panhandles, over to eastern Colorado, a little bit of Nebraska, central and western Kansas. So just this big egg in the middle. Sam Ryder was so good. I'm gonna go ahead and say Freddie and Francine kind of knocked my socks off. They were really great.
Hi, I'm Dave Oberman. I'm currently off air, but for 20 plus years I hosted a program called Folkways on KUT in Austin. And it was good to see Anais Mitchell again for me. I watched her grow up, and it's just nice to know she's still maturing and still creating. And it was a good moment for me.
This is Bud and Heather Johnson. We do Acoustic Accents, syndicated show on public radio in Alaska. And I'm sure all of you are on, nobody said her name yet, so Molly Tuttle is amazing. So, just in case.
I'm Tom MacArthur. I do a podcast called The Folk Chef's Kitchen out of St. John, New Brunswick, Canada.
It's available on a carrier called Podbean, or you can find it on iTunes. Chris Matthews definitely was phenomenal, and also mentioned Emily Muir. I think she's a really great songwriter. And I just want to say quickly, this is my second year at the Folk Alliance as a folk DJ, and I just want to thank everybody. Everybody's been really welcoming and helped me get into the fold, so I really appreciate that.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Hey everybody, Matt Wittroba, WKAR in East Lansing, Michigan. It is so good to be back on my drive. I got nothing new, but I just want to say that what I saw Anna and Elizabeth do last night was absolutely transforming. It was bringing history to the forefront again. It was just really, really special. I've seen them before, but last night was just, what they're doing is really worth looking at.
Great. Mary Sue Tui, Sirius XM, The Village, and I saw Ye Vagabonds last night. I loved them, and I also saw The Lens, and I recommend both. Completely different.
My name is Ian Zalator, the folk show on WXPN in Philadelphia. There's an artist who was in Philadelphia, now he's out of Nashville. He's only got one more showcase, but I think a lot of you would really like him. Chris Casper, if you get a chance today.
Okay, Chris Jacobs with the BGS Radio Hour. We're the radio show associated with the Bluegrass Situation, the website, and we broadcast out of WMOT in Nashville and KCSN in Los Angeles, and we're starting a new podcast network. And last night I saw who was really great.
Oh, AHI?
Yeah, AHI, pronounced I, but spelled like Ahi.
Yeah.
And he was great. Check him out.
Yeah, great.
Tom Cut, oh, sorry. we skipped some people here, so.
Valerie Andrus, KKFI Folk Hill of Folk. If you look out that window all the way to the horizon, on the right there's a very tall building. We're almost directly across the street from it. Of what I've seen so far, I'm particularly fond of Celtic and World, so I'm going to go with Ensemble Iberica.
I'm John Weingart. I do a show on WPRB in Princeton, New Jersey called Music You Can't Hear on the Radio, like yours. And I've been doing it since 1974. The group I'd recommend is a duo called Mill Pond Moon.
Oh, from Norway.
Norway. They won my heart with their album when they did Artie Traum's song Barbed Wire, which is a beautiful song. And last night they did all songs they wrote, really good.
All in English.
All in English, yes. And they're sort of charming. Anyway.
Yeah, Bob McWilliams, Kansas Public Radio, Trail Mix. And after 2 decades plus of being on for 6 hours on Sunday from 1 to 7, now I'm on 3 hours Saturday and 3 hours Sunday, 1 to 4, and it's much better. And we play almost everything that you hear here. So, but I'm not the night bird. I'm out of the day turkey or something like that. Anyway, by now my very top, Sam Ryder, Human Hands, Molly Tuttle, Night Tree, all covered. But I want to, and a bunch of the singer-songwriters too. Singer-songwriter Hope Dunbar from a little small town in Nebraska, really knocked out. And on the bluegrass sword, a terrific young band called Mile 12, who are both very outstanding at traditional vocals, but they're all hot pickers that extend the tradition, so they're really good in the bluegrass thing. Thanks.
Back here? Okay. Brian Eister from Boulder, Colorado, KGNU, Boulder, Denver. I do a bluegrass show and a folk show, and I hadn't seen the band before, but Laura Cortese and the dance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic
Yeah,
last night.
Okay, now back to there.
Now? Let's get right here.
I'm Steve Brockway, KRFC in Fort Collins, Colorado, where we have extraordinarily trouble sometimes keeping general managers employed. If you guys can help me with that, I take that back to the board. An act I like is a young guy from Carbondale, Colorado, Jackson Emer, E-M-M-E-R.
Now.
And now. I'm Tom Cogsworth. I'm a contractor with CKUA Radio Network throughout the entire province of Alberta, into Montana and BC and Saskatchewan. My program is called Folk Roots, R-O-U-T-E-S, named after a David Graham, Shirley Collins album in the 60s. So it goes from there to Woody Guthrie and Passenger and a lot of singer-songwriter based. I'm involved with many of the festivals, certainly in Western Canada, and have been for over 40 years, and that's kind of the focus I bring. So when they change, I'd like to think I change as well to meet the needs. I'm going to recommend bringing it back home in the Alberta room. Please attempt to see Erin Kay. She's got a brand new album that's just about to drop.
I love that.
She's released a single, but she's a brilliant singer-songwriter, and she's really done it right. I've watched her come up over the last few years, so I highly recommend that. For you country and western type of people, we have a group called the Wardens. And then last night I saw this group that I think are really going to be something, kind of an Alice Cooper-ish Chicano rock band called Making Movies.
John Farmer, Georgian Bay Roots, Own Sound. I'm going to share 2 Canadian suggestions. I saw Lisa LeBlanc live for the first time yesterday, and she was fantastic. And from Hamilton, Ontario, Sarah Beattie is writing interesting, socially relevant songs. Yeah.
Good. Greg Torrington, Stingray Music, based in Montreal, digital media distributed through cable throughout North America. I would highly recommend, I don't know, I got here a little late, I apologize, but the Stray Birds are always a great band.
yeah.
They have a suite, and they're playing at 10:30 every night in their suite, and they're playing all new material. Last night I caught them there, and they were debuting songs for the first time in public, so they'll be doing that every night with different songs.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And also to reiterate what Mary was saying about the Lynn's, Lynn, it's, a lot of you are maybe familiar with Lynn Miles. She's one of the Lynn's, and Lynn Hanson, and they'll be playing around too.
There's it. Thank you for bringing that up.
I wasn't aware of that.
Hey, Mark Corso from Rutgers in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Been doing shows since '89, and I really like female singer-songwriters. Carolyn Cotter and Emily Muir.
Jason Bouchard, CHO Radio Ottawa. Monique Clark from Australia. And Rain Hamilton. Celtic jazzy thing that is. And the one thing about this that's great today, this year, I think, is that there's lots of people that most of us know that we don't see a lot. John Smith, all one word.
Yes.
Gary and Numa Peters, those little short people. If you haven't seen them, you should do your damnedest. The Airless. There's all kinds of people this year.
Yep.
Anyway.
Paul Porzio, Eclectic Hours, Fairfax County, Virginia, on Radio Fairfax. It's our 23rd year. This is totally random chance on these two. Maybe a little too high energy for some of your shows. Daniel Champagne from Australia, and Mike Semrad and the Riverhawks. May make you think of Grateful Dead there.
My name's Audrey Wells. I'm a producer on Roots and All Radio in Mendocino County, California, and I am smitten with Yermal, who is an Aboriginal voice here from Australia, very powerful.
Jeff Zalator, KZYX, Roots and All is the name of the show in Mendocino County, California. I was drawn in by the rough roots of Hat, Fitz, and Kara last night.
A duo, right?
The duo, yes.
You came in late, right? Go ahead.
Bob Weiser, Community Radio on Cape Cod, WOMR, the Old Songs Home Radio Show, where I play a lot of new music. I don't know if it's everybody's taste, but I saw the Swedish band last night, Kalikonen, I think.
We got, how is it again?
Oh, man.
Colonian. Colonian.
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the fellow from Nebraska you just mentioned, Semrad, is that his name? Mike Semrad? And his band, very good stuff. And Dylan Menzies from Prince Edward Island. The guy who was a finalist in The Voice is playing here. I don't remember his name, but somebody dragged me to see him. But Dylan Menzies is the guy who really has the voice. So check it out.
That's good.
I think it might be the last one. I'm Jeremy Butler from Alabama Public Radio, where I do a show called All Things Acoustic. And I'd like to toss in a string band, old-time band from Charlottesville, the Hackensaw Boys.
Yeah.
They did a really fun set last night.
And I'm your host, Rich Warren from WFMT Radio in Chicago, the Midnight Special, which is a record show, and Folk Stage, which is a live concert show. And this is my 50th year in folk radio. And it's been a total joy to be involved with the music and with my fellow DJs. This is the highlight of the conference for me. I think we have more people here than we've ever had before. So thank you for participating in Folk Alliance. Thank you. And my recommendations, somebody whose album was good, but she was much better in person, was Kyle Carey, who has a gorgeous voice and can sing in Scots Gaelic. It's her second language now. She actually did a whole year in the Isle of Skye to learn Scots Gaelic, so she sings it beautifully as well as in English. And just by chance, I went to see Over the Rhine, and they weren't there. And these two weird guys call themselves Sons of Town Hall, I think.
Son of Town Hall.
Son of Town Hall. Their stage shtick was a little bit much, but they were like the milk carton kids in their harmonies, but they were really original and novel and fresh, and I was just blown away by them. And they may not be the ideal radio act, but because they're so visual, but they were just fantastic.
It's David Berkeley and a Brit, and they do this whole shtick, and I had them on my show, and they did it as these characters.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really worthwhile.
So I think now we turn to the conversation.
John, what about you?
Oh, John,
Oh,
yeah.
me.
So is he taking videos?
I'm actually working here. I'm on Folk Alliance time. I'm an employee, but
Can we hold the camera on for you?
whatever.
Thank you, Sue.
My name is John Lupton. I'm a co-host of Rural Free Delivery at WVUD, the voice of the University of Delaware in Newark. I've been doing the show with my co-host George Mercer since 1989. Being a Delaware guy myself, I have to plug another Delaware guy, John Flynn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he did a showcase last night that was tremendous, and he's still running all weekend, I think.